Hey guys, welcome back to another advanced leader guide. Today we're going to be covering Arbiter, and I'd just like to say I hate you all for begging me to do him next, but let's crack on with it anyway. So, Arbiter scales into the most broken leader in the game and is also very strong in the early stages due to elite grunts being broken with Conduit of Rage stacked on top. It's a pretty mean combo to help you soar easily into Tech 2, which is where most Banish really thrive with their counter ball, and Conduit of Rage makes that so much worse for your opponent. His whole gameplay is based around activating Conduit of Rage using his array of active leader powers to activate Conduit on his units, making them very strong and difficult to handle, but you must use it sparingly. In this video, we're going to break down all of his leader powers, the strategy to use, and how to use Conduit of Rage to help you win the game. Just remember, the longer the game goes on, the stronger the Arbiter gets, so he's very much for the more patient player, and patience really isn't my strong suit. Okay guys, so in this portion of the video, we're going to break down the leader powers of Arbiter, the order you should take them in, and give you a bit of information about Arbiter's leader powers themselves. So, first of all, Arbiter's whole kit, his whole ability is based around Conduit of Rage, which you'll see here on second point. That's where you get level 1. Conduit of Rage comes with a lot of buffs, and essentially how it's activated is by dropping leader powers. So if we take Conduit of Rage, get the unit out here. We drop a leader power, you see the little orange glowing radius around it, that's the units it's going to hit. So if you drop it here, it's not going to hit the units. If you drop it here, it is. If you drop it, you'll see the buff. So the arrow and the rage actually comes above them there. You'll see that come up. That is when the Conduit of Rage is activated. So this actually lasts for 10 seconds per leader power dropped. So it does not stack. So if I drop Mars and the Plasma Ball in total, the Plasma Ball was only active for about 2 seconds. Dropping the Mars would reactivate it back to 10 seconds time. So you gotta really be careful when you're dropping your leader powers. It used to be before it got patched, you could drop all your leader powers and it would just stack, so you'd have like 120 seconds, however many leader power points and leader powers you have, constantly with that buff on, and it was absolutely insane, absolutely crazy. But now you got to kind of be a bit more careful. You got to time your leader powers, so you can't just drop them all at once. So you drop mines. You can either count 10 seconds, which isn't ideal, or you can just wait for the arrows and the animation to disappear before dropping your next leader power. So, in theory, Conduit of Rage 1, the buffs it actually gives you is 20% speed increase, 15% damage increase, and it also heals your units for 3% heal per tick at a tick rate of 2. The radius you see here in the files is classed as 40. When you go Conduit of Rage 2, this actually doubles the radius, and Conduit of Rage 3 is triple the radius of Conduit of Rage 1, so it gets huge, and you can buff your whole army with this, which is why I've been saying for absolutely months, Arbiter is so broken, just because of the Conduit of Rage and the damage it gives you and how long it lasts. The later the game goes as well, you get more leader powers, and he just becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. Power Surge reduces the cooldown of your leader powers as well, so it makes them come online faster, which means you get to drop your leader powers again faster, activate more Conduit of Rage. So there is quite a few stats involved with Power Surge. It does reduce the cooldown differently for each leader point. It's all in the guide, so check the link in the description, the Halo Wars 2 guide. It's all in the guide. For example, Teleport with Power Surge 1 gives a -6 second cooldown, Stasis Mine 10-second cooldown, Plasma Ball 15-second cooldown. So it's absolutely huge. It just allows you to spam those leader points a little bit faster, and obviously the later it goes, like your 30-minute games, your 60-minute games, you can't beat Arbiter, especially with Phantoms. Phantoms become super broken when Conduit of Rage is activated with units in them, and stuff like that. So let's talk about more of the leader powers. So the leader power order you generally take with Arbiter, which is a pretty safe pick. I mean, it's very situational, but generally, as a common rule of thumb, you would open with Stasis Mines. So this gives you the early dominance on the map to gather resources if you've been attacked and stuff. Like, he's stealing my resources here. You can deny a chopper or a ghost or a scout with the plasma mines early on and secure the resources for yourself. Second point, you're going to be going Conduit of Rage. This is pivotal to Arbiter's kit. You need Conduit of Rage to activate any of his extra speed damage to heal and the damage as well. Third point, this is where it can become quite situational. So you'll see a lot of people, especially in teams, go straight into Phantoms. This is very dependent. It is a tough way to build into Arbiter. You need a second base so you can double build. Holy shit, what's this Yap Yap doing? Holy crap. You're gonna rape me. So some people go Phantoms third and try and get them out because they are very strong. The safest pick is to go Stasis. So when you're using fights, you would Stasis half the army. Okay. Ruining my video now, Yap Yap. So you would Stasis half of the army. And take the fight against half of the army there. Next point, you would then double back into Conduit of Rage 2 to give you that extra buff. So at this point, you've already got Stasis to activate Conduit of Rage, and then you've got Stasis Mines as well. If you do see a sneak attack, you can go into the Enforcer drop. You got a scout on their base, they're pushing you like this. You can go into the Enforcer drop and be able to easily take down that base that way. So after getting creamed by Yap Yap, we're going to restart this. So just to leave where we left off, obviously, we're going to be taking Mines first, Conduit of Rage, and then into Stasis. Generally from here, you would go Conduit of Rage 2, and then into Mass Stasis, which Mass Stasis is technically your ultimate ability, okay? Mass Cloaking shouldn't really be taught. With the amount of Detect in the game, you're generally only going to be using Mass Cloaking for the speed buff and the health siphon. So Mass Cloaking gives a 30% speed buff and provides a 5% health siphon and turns your units invisible for 16 seconds. From here, it becomes very situational. Obviously, you want as many ways to activate Conduit of Rage as possible. Mass Cloaking does not activate Conduit of Rage, so try to avoid that as late as possible. It does come in useful for the healing, as mentioned, but Enforcer drop, pretty good. You do an Enforcer drop, sneak attack on the enemy base. You can take out generators very quickly with the Enforcer drop. You drop mines on it to buff them even more, and they will strip a whole undefended base in the blink of an eye because Enforcers are that strong. Not only that, but the Enforcer drop actually comes with the Arbiter's Champion upgrade, even if you haven't researched it. So that makes it even stronger. From here, it's up to you guys. You want to get Conduit of Rage free as soon as possible. Plasma Ball. Plasma Ball 1 isn't very good. You're just using it basically to activate your Conduit. But you get 3 points into Plasma Ball. Plasma Ball 3 is very good, by the way. Get that damage. And then it activates the Conduit. And obviously you can place it anywhere, so you can target shit. We're not going to die to Isabel like we died to Yap Yap this time in this demo. So from here, you're now into the late game. You're on like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points here. So this is where you become really strong. You got your full Conduit, you got your full army. Nobody's really going to be able to touch you. The reason being, not only is your army stronger than them when you drop Conduit, but you can Stasis half their army, kill the other half. You have another Stasis to Stasis more of the army, kill the other half. It's very easy for Arbiter to win fights with these abilities and Conduit of Rage, and that's what makes him so strong. So in the next section of the video, we're going to go into some real live gameplay and break it down on how to play Arbiter, and we're going to show some build orders as well on how to get to this stage without dying early on. So guys, here we are at the climax of our video, and we're going to be showing you some ranked 1v1 Arbiter gameplay on the ladder. So we get a pretty good example here against a mid-level champ playing 1v1. Surprisingly, during this game I did think he has come a long way, gotten a lot better since I played him previously over the last so many years. And obviously he's playing Decimus as well, so as we know, Decimus does make players seem a lot better than they actually are due to the passives. So I hope this is going to be a good example of showing you how you can play Arby against a tough opponent, and some of the decision making that I had to make during this game. So straight at first, you iron up the matchup on Rift and the Decimus as well. Essentially, the game plan here is just to try and get Tech 2, get as many grunts out as possible, take some nodes, and hope that he isn't going to apply a lot of pressure early on. If he goes choppers, upgraded choppers as well, we can skip Cloak, because that's going to be tough for us as an elite. Upgraded choppers pretty much shut down the Tech 1 map control if you don't go Ghosts. So Ghosts are still an option with Arby. Ghosts are really good, especially with Conduit of Rage. So you just notice our pathing here as well. We're going to open up double supply pad because we're going to want as many grunts as possible, and we don't want to lose our mini bases. The key here is not lose your mini bases, especially when you go in for Tech 2. That's the overall goal early on here. Arbiter really scales throughout the game, so he's not super strong early on, but he does definitely get a lot stronger as you get more levels of conduit, so 1, 2, 3, and more ways to activate it as well. So early pathing here is just make sure your grunts are always on the move. You're upgrading your pads on time, so you'll see me hovering around my pads a lot. Cycling is very important in this game. You don't want your grunts to be sat there for seconds or minutes on end in a high level scenario. Obviously at the lower ranks in the game, you won't get punished for that sort of stuff, but it's good to get it in place as you grow and move up the ladder. So feeling really comfortable right now. We have a grunt on the left, as you notice here, so we don't see him going for a back mini steal. The decision here is to not take the mini base at this point because it isn't under threat, and get the second gen up a lot earlier than we would have been able to if we did take the mini. Then we're just going to take the mini and path across to the node. Because like I said earlier, the overall game plan early in the game here is the double gen, lot of grunts, get as many power nodes as possible, and get Tech 2. So essentially using this build, what you want to do is upgrade your first harvester and upgrade both of your generators. You don't start upgrading your other harvesters until you actually spend the power to get into Tech 2, and that is researching. Now that's going to help your economy a lot in the mid game. And we just need to try and get a scout off on the opponent now. So you'll see we've got a grunt over there just to get a scout, because we need to know what's going on. If he's like double raid cam about to go straight at our main base and we're double gen with only grunts, we're probably going to lose. Especially since we don't have any active leader powers like Decimus does. He has the Vortex and then the Beam on third. It's very hard to play against. So if we do scout anything crazy from him, that's where we're going to start putting up turrets to help us. We might even go into a raid camp instead of a supply pad, just recycle a supply pad and start building suicide grunts just to get us out there. So as we scout, we see he's double gen as well, but he's behind me. His second generator's only just been built. Now he has to upgrade it. So I'm comfortable knowing that we're going to hit Tech 2 a lot earlier than he is. And if you've played for as long as I have, you know most Decimus players, if they don't play choppers on Tech 1, are probably going to do some sort of mass grunts into infantry elite rangers. Some crazy people even end up building the Warlord and stuff like that. So our goal is to get double raid camp up with a foundry, Apex on the Expo, get the Expo, and start building elite rangers, grunts. You'll see we now see the choppers, so the choppers are lit. We think about putting the mines down there, but he did actually back off, so it would have been pointless. We're going to try and trap some of the choppers in the stasis to be able to kill them. Fortunately for us, we'll only get one, and the choppers are already driving away, so we don't get to be able to stick them there. So from our point of view, that is not the greatest use of our stasis there. But he's going to get stuck in it. I'm going to try and get the Expo. We are now in Tech 2, so because he's got choppers, we're going to have to build a couple of early hunters. He's going to use a Vortex on a couple of grunts here. That's a waste for him. He immediately goes for the Expo, which I should have recycled immediately there, but I did want to try and get that up, but unfortunately it's going to be expensive anyway. We're just decision making here, thinking about it, and then it finally does go down. So you don't want to overcommit to hunters. That's the mistake a lot of people make. They see choppers like this, they'll start building 4, 5, maybe 6 hunters, and then all of a sudden your enemy hits Tech 2 and he's coming out with Rangers or Banshees if you're Decimus at this point, and your hunters are just a waste of money. So we didn't lose too much there. All he's done really is delay the timing of our Expo. So we're going to go scout the other Expo, see if we can pick that up. And we're going to get the RB Hero out. The RB Hero is very strong on Tech 2. And you can kind of do a lot of sneaky play with him. You could run to his base, try and take out a generator with an Enforcer drop, playing cheesy that way. And most of the time it will work. Bad micro there, just losing a hunter. But before we start using any of our abilities, we're going to have to build up our numbers, because these choppers putting us through our paces, making it hard work. He's backed away, so we're just gonna try and pick up the Expo again.
Local units. Local units. Outside and hurry. Local units.
At this point it's tough. We're just playing defense, hoping he's not going to push with a massive army while we build up the conduit and our leader points, our army. We hit Tech 2 first, so we know we have an advantage there. He did delay the Expo. We don't know if he has an Expo right now or what he's going into in Tech 2. Click on his base. We know he is Tech 2. Preemptively building a Reaver, because Reavers are good units anyway, but most Desi players will go Banshees, and since we haven't scouted and he's already seen that we're on counter units, he might opt for Banshees early on, we don't know. Just going to pre-split here, just in case of a beam. We're at 61 pop, so we're going to poke his Expo. It should just be coming up, if not only just built. And we're going to send the RB Hero as a distraction around to his main there. Try and do some damage to a gen while we're putting in work over here. He's doing a pretty good job at taking the nerds from us, but we're just going to keep taking them back. So important, the nerd fight, and you'll see there we got the scout on the ledge and his Expo is up. Clearing out his vision on our side of the map. We don't really want him to know what we're doing. And here are all the choppers again, so we're just going to back out there with the Reaver. He sees my leader, obviously, at his generator, so he's going to want to go back with his choppers. Bad move by him. He's actually splitting his army off. So all the choppers and stuff are going back. And we get to basically get the numbers advantage and clean up his rangers here. So, and this is why choppers are so good. Against elites, ramming the honor guard. Luckily the honor guard has extract and also RB as well. It's really hard to get out of there. Just doing that to save our leader. He wastes a vortex and the leader is going to get away, but we did waste 2 leader powers, so it's not really a big advantage for us. Just going to build 1 locus here to try and push the Expo. We know we have a scout on the other 2 Expos, so we know when he's going to take his third. Scouts are always key like that, and we know he's still on choppers at this moment in time. So he doesn't really have a bulky Tech 2 army like we do. We should be able to mop this. We just got to be careful of that beam. Hero's now getting healed up nicely. There's the beam lock. Could have split better, but absolutely shreds me there. And this is why Decimus is so tough to play against. He kept most of his army alive, and the beam really saved him there. He has the Marauders, which is generally what you want to do against heroes. If you can't catch a hero like Arbiter, Marauders are really good because they slow him down. My Arbiter couldn't get away, so that's another loss, another waste for me. Essentially, if you want to play the perfect RB, you just have to be more patient. Should have sat back a lot longer than we did. Now we've put ourselves in a pretty bad spot.
Augmented Harvester upgrade complete.
Just gonna build our army now. He could have pushed this Expo. He's got Boundless Siphon. He has a decently sized army. A lot of Marauders. Don't really have a lot to deal with the Marauders at this moment in time.
Their troops attempt to ground me. Our foes are here. War Council constructed.
I'm just gonna get our hero out
Augmented
again.
Harvester upgrade complete. All units. All units.
Didn't feel the need to put the shield on the Expo because it's expensive. Just gonna put turrets up instead. They do work a lot better with an army. We know his Vortex and Beams down, so he can't really hurt us at the moment. And he's gonna be waiting for that Decimus drop. If he was smart, he's gonna wait for the Decimus drop.
Local units. Local units.
Now at this point, since he's not pushing, we're just gonna try and get to Tech 3, get some Wraiths. That's normally the Tech 3 composition for Banished.
The enemy has captured our power node.
A lot of Marauders. Some people might be saying, why not go Phantoms? I like to try and build up the Conduit first and leader powers to be able to activate Conduit because it's so much stronger than Phantoms. Phantoms don't really come into play until later in the game, in my opinion.
Leader power ready.
Early Phantoms are quite easy to counter, especially as Banished. So we see he's got his third up. We're going to send our hero over there just to deal with that while we've got our army set back.
Power node to the enemy.
He's got us pinned in right now.
Show me the flying pests. Local units.
So waiting for that Tech 3 leader upgrade. Still building up our army. We're going to want to get some Wraiths out, some reinforcements soon. We got the shield up just to protect ourselves. We're going to try and take some of these nodes back, and we're going to send our leader to his base once more as another distraction. And here we are, we're on Wraiths now. As long as he's not Tech 3 and he's not on Wraiths, we should still have the army advantage here. Does have a shield on the main, so we're just going to run across to the mini base, try and do as much damage as possible.
Local units.
So you see his army's all the way over here. That's why we decided to come back with the Arbiter to try and take down the shield. Unfortunate for us, we picked Enforcer drop to drop on that main to try and drop the shield because his army was all the way over here. But it does end up being a mistake in the end, especially since we don't have the population.
Local units. I am under attack. Local units. All units. Local units. Local.
But we're still keeping him on the back foot. He's sending his whole army back to deal with this leader because that's essentially what you got to do if you want to kill it.
Local units.
First upgrade you really want to get when you've got Wraiths out as well is the Scorch Mortar. The Scorch Mortar is so good.
Local units.
So we're just going to have to get out of there.
Level 1 research.
Not every gamble pays off.
Local units.
Now the end goal is still to win the game.
Indeed.
So we're making a split push now. I imagine he sent most of his army back to try and deal with my hero. So we're just going to push with a couple of Wraiths here. Take some nodes back while it's distracted, and yeah. Look how good the Marauders are. They just slow him down so much.
Local units. Of course. The enemy hide behind their vehicles. I shall. Where shall I go? Local units.
While his whole army's out there dealing with the hero, hopefully we can do some damage to this base. We either got weak, so we're just going to jump him onto the hill. Scorch Mortar is going to be researched. Arbiter here are going to be back, and there is the beam again. As we're not looking. Almost kills all of our enforcers, and that push does get stopped because his army is now going to be back on the way. We notice as well he picks up hit the base on his side, and we did scout that he has the base on our side. So the ideal solution here is to retreat, kill the base on our side, so he doesn't get upgraded with a shield on, because that would be really bad for us. And send some units split across to the other base, probably our hero when he comes out. And we are now 96 out of 100 population. And he has Marauders, we have Wraiths, so we know we're in a good spot still. Assuming we can avoid a Decimus drop, that does wipe our whole army, because that tends to happen.
Augmented harvester upgrade complete.
What you want me for?
As you say, I am up against an enemy vehicle. It shall be.
He's trying to make a push on my expo. He's trying to trade. But I do have stasis to be able to get back. Got a little Harvey hero here. So I'm going to come back. And I'm probably going to wipe all this. If he stays and doesn't get away. Yeah, he's backing off.
Turret improved. Leader power ready.
Not a great fight for him. He didn't manage to drop the shield. Now we're going to be able to pick up our third. He has his third, so... We know where his army is, so we're going to push his expo. We know he doesn't have beam. Does have vortex. We should be able to drop the shield pretty quickly here. And he shouldn't be able to get back to deal with this. He just got caught out of position massively. We're going to go for Conduit of Rage 3 here. So the next fight we should win. Oh no! There's the Desi drop. Didn't get the stasis off in time. It was a bit pointless there. And the rest of his army is going to come in now as well. So we got back off. Just going to go harass his third, see if we can take that down. And obviously the end goal is just we're getting stronger and stronger. He has his power spikes, but we're just getting stronger and stronger at the moment. Unfortunately, this base does get upgraded, so he might be able to get a shield on it and get it built. This whole army is over here. He's going to go for our third, so we're probably just going to do a trade, hopefully. I mean, forces shred through bases like it's crazy. It's a good vortex. And the cloak comes up. Luckily my army is on the way. I did think about sending it, splitting off and defending my expo, my third base over there, but as long as we get a trade, we're even. And we're going to stay on vehicles, keep upgrading them. I think we can close it out with vehicles. He's all the way on the left. We have stasis as well, so we can make a push up to his main. Stasis the army as it comes in and hopefully do a lot of damage.
We are losing a power node to the enemy.
When you get stasis, mass stasis, with Conduit of Rage 3 and all your other leader powers online, you can basically pick and choose any fight you want and you're going to win it. You can stasis half his army, kill the rest. You can mass stasis it all, kill the base. We know he's going to take our third on the left, so we're going to take his on the right while we're pushing up. Because he's going to have to come back and defend, so we should get that base up. And we have a lot of Wraiths. This is a lot of base damage. So with the Scorch. So we feel like we can min it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try and min it. With the Conduit as well. There is the beam. His army got back pretty quickly, so we're just going to stasis that. Give ourselves the heal as well out of the beam and a bit more speed to try and get out of there.
Local units. All units. All units.
Huge fight going down. He is on Wraiths as well. We're going to move the Locust to the back because he's not focusing it. The Locust can try and do some base damage, but we are losing most of our Wraiths.
Vehicle level 2 researched.
Managed to drop the shield, take a pad.
All units. All units.
At least we have a great economy. Like, we could bounce back from this. If we didn't have a great economy right now, we'd be in a really tough spot. So there is the mass stasis coming in next. Get this base online, or at least try to. Rebuild our army in the background. And the Arbiter is going to the base all the way to the left. Again, always splitting. Can hit 2 places at once. It distracts your opponent. Some people will all units to one spot, allowing you to attack a different spot. And he didn't take this base. That was a bad move from him. because now I can take it, and I'm either going to get one of these bases online and have the base advantage. Now swapping to Banshees, we see a couple of Banshees, so we're going to have to start getting a couple of Reavers out.
Citadel upgrade complete. For the glory of combat.
We'll try and cripple a bit of his economy, taking out his minis.
Leader power ready.
I'll just send a Reaver over there to deal with that. Definitely going to lose that base, so sack your pads on your base if you know you're going to lose it. Get some money back at least.
All units.
It's going to deny both my bases there. Not ideal.
We're losing a power node to the
We are about to go vehicle level 3, so Reaver Wraith is the army comp we're going to use, especially since he's on Banshee and Wraith himself. He might swap into Mass Banshees, which is generally what Decimus players do. Because we're so rich right now, we're just trying to get as many upgrades as possible.
The enemy has destroyed one of our buildings. Blades are yours. All units.
As many, we're going to regroup the rest of our army. Reavers are on the way over here to deal with these Banshees, and we can pick up that base again while we're going to make a split push on the other base on the right. Make sure he doesn't get that. It's like a game of tug and war.
Local units. Our base is under attack. All units. I am ready. Mini base complete.
So we have the right army comp right now. It's just making a play, making something happen, grow population, get all the upgrades possible, and never stop. Always, obviously, keep getting your upgrades and stuff. And if something isn't working, you can swap into something else. Like, you could go Scarab in the late game. I wouldn't recommend going Scarab against Decimus because his leaders just pull it around like crazy, and you just don't get anything done with it. If the game goes on any longer, could go into Phantoms. But personally, I feel like I can win this game just by staying infantry, to be honest. That's going to be a big old fight here. We're going to drop the Conduit in the fight. Should give us the edge. He's going to drop down a Vortex, loses control of his units, so he's going to sit in all of the Scorch there. You see all the Rifts absolutely melt away and disappear because of the Scorch. So the Vortex wasn't the best use. He's going to use a beam. We're just going to stasis our own army. It's not normally something we do, but it's going to counter his beam, keep our army alive. There's his two leaders on my leader. That's a bit of a waste from him. He needed to save his army. He just put himself in a really bad spot. We're going to take his Fed, get our Fed up and running. Probably going to push his main as well, because we know he doesn't have a lot. And this amount of Wraith should be able to kill them two heroes, to be honest. Plasma Ball is a meme. Don't go Plasma Ball. Did record this video a few days ago, so I guess we're just getting a bit cocky at this stage. In that spot, you're probably best like picking Phantoms and making a switch in the background while you're pushing with Wraiths, because they won't expect it. So if the Wraith push doesn't work right now, a Phantom push after that probably would. So he's already slowly transitioning into Banshees, and it's just too late. We kill that hero. We teleport out. We kill the Warlord at least. We're almost 120 pot.
Local units, all units. I await orders.
And sometimes, guys, it just comes down to that one big fight and capitalizing on it. Like, I see a lot of people winning a big fight like that, but then sitting back. You have to really push.
Harvester constructed.
Try to do some damage. Especially when you know the hurt. That Y ability was insane.
I'm under attack from the enemy. If you want it. All units. Enemies are near. It shall be. Raid ready. Of course. I obey. Give me some orders.
You got our Army Vet 1. Engineer comes in to save the day, quite luckily. Looks like he's going to survive. We took both his minis now. His economy's behind us, so we can just keep trading units. We're going to always win the trade because we're richer than him. We have more pads. And there you have it. He's going to resign anyway. He knows the game's over. And that is some Arby gameplay and how to play Arby. Obviously, it got a bit messy. Personally, I panic a lot in situations, so I don't play perfectly in the moment, but it's easy to describe and review what I should have done and what I shouldn't have done. But I hope you can take something from that gameplay and obviously the whole video as well. Everything we've covered for Arbiter. Arbiter isn't my best leader. I don't really enjoy playing Arbiter. This guide is just because I'm doing all of the leader videos, and you guys wanted Arbiter next. So I put probably a couple of months into playing Arbiter personally on the ladder to try and get used to everything that is about. And I've casted a lot of games of top players playing as well.